local was very good to me, and I can say I made a very good living, and I met some real great guys.
There's a lot of buildings here that, people don't realize that Local 46 is a part of. Whether it was doing the black iron, post-tensioning, rebar, we are the structure of the building, and we take pride in what we do.
I've got a lot of pride being a 46 member, and especially when you're working with Lath, because we're getting phased out so much. So yeah, it was great to see all that wire lath, and inside the I call it golf ball, but the planetarium, that's all wire lath. The whole thing going around. It was a lot of fun to work with, and yeah, a lot of pride in that.
I dedicate everything to Local 46. If it wasn't for Local 46, I wouldn't be where I am today.
My hat's off to my brothers and sisters who worked here. And we got all the way to the top, and as you can see, it's a beautiful building, and hopefully it can give some closure to some people who lost so much here.
Many of our members, when first glancing through this issue of the Ironworker, will be somewhat surprised to see a picture of the General President taking part in a local union meeting. This meeting must have had some unique significance, and indeed it did. It was a meeting that brought to an end, after a period of 6 decades, a situation wherein union members other than ironworkers installed reinforcing rods in building construction. The union members were metal lathers of their local in New York City. Therefore, a meeting that brought an end after 60 years to that situation was indeed a unique and historic meeting. Accordingly, I decided to participate to pay appropriate attention to the historic significance. For more than 80 years before the International Association of Bridge, Structural, Ornamental, and Reinforcing Ironworkers chartered metallic lathers and reinforcing ironworkers Local Number 46L of New York City into the union on October 10, 1979, the local existed as various other union organizations. Lathers in the city had been organized as the Journeyman Lathers Union as early as 1895, and again as the Metallic Fireproof Construction and Wire Lathers Union in early 1897, before the union that would eventually become Local 46L was established later that spring. That organization, the Metal Wire Lathers Union, was organized in June 1897 and chartered by the Knights of Labor International Union Federation soon after, making 2022 the 125th anniversary year of Local 46L.
Well, this is huge. 125 years. I know when I first got into business, the old timers used to say, "Oh, go find something else to do. This business will never be around," and we're still here, and we're looking to be here for another 125 years. I mean, we face a lot of things out there as far as the non-union and things of that nature. But if guys go to work and be aggressive and try to get guys on the job, good things happen.
We became ironworkers because we needed a voice. You see, there was no one of the Lathers left. Maybe there was 10 guys and one local and out in Idaho somewhere. They're not there. So we needed a voice. So we joined the Ironworkers International, and they were glad to have us because we know this business. We know the rebar business.
Members of the new Metal Wire Lathers Union immediately made an impact on their city, constructing key projects that included the new Grand Central Station in the late 1890s. In 1900, the New York City Local Union joined the new Wood, Wire, and Metal Lathers International Union and was chartered as Wire Lathers Local Number 56. The local withdrew from the Lathers International Union in 1901, however, and joined Ironworkers Local Number 2, 2 of the International Association of Ironworkers. Then, on October 10, 1903, the Lathers left Ironworkers Local 2 and re-affiliated with the Lathers International Union, which rechartered them as Metallic Lathers Local number 46.
It starts from the very first day you walk in here to the last day that you leave when you walk out. I always tell the young fellas, you're going to get good habits as an apprentice that are going to carry over to your mechanics years. And that's what we want to do. We want to get them into good union habits.
Strong support, builds it fast, quick. We're the only place in the country that could do a floor in 2 days. You know, so take pride in that, working hard and working fast.
Local 46 grew throughout the 1910s as it helped the United States and its allies win the First World War. It continued to prosper during the roaring 1920s, and then Local 46 survived the Great Depression years of the 1930s, as well as ongoing jurisdictional disputes with the Ironworkers Union and sister locals within the Lathers Union.
46 gives us the manpower, you know, the right manpower, the skilled labor, to get the job done. You know, it's not some Joe Schmo on the street. These guys are educated guys, taught to do this.
When I came in, I was taught that you be good to the business will be good to you. And I found that to be very true. I was able to afford a comfortable lifestyle, live a comfortable life, put a decent roof over our heads. You know, I had 2 sons. I was able to put them through college. My youngest son won 2 scholarships from the union, you know, which really helped a lot. It really afforded me a comfortable way of life.
The Local became a force in the 1940s as it again contributed to victory for the country and its partners in World War II. That decade, on June 7, 1949, Local 46 purchases the building at 1322 3rd Avenue in Manhattan that has housed its Union Hall since 1932. Then, in another milestone, on June 30th, 1951, the Local adopted its first pension plan, which had been established as part of its June 1, 1949 collectively bargained 3-year working contract with employers. The Local also created an annuity plan in 1962 to supplement members' retirement pensions.
It allowed me, personally, to do everything I wanted to do. You know, if it wasn't for the Local, who knows where I'd be. But like I said, you know, I always wanted to do this. I didn't know what it was, but my big brother was doing this, and my uncles and everything. So I'd hear the stories when I was a little tot, and I always knew I wanted to do this.
Well, you know, if a guy goes to work, learns his craft, he's always given the opportunity. And the best part about Local 46 is there's no discrimination. You know, everybody gets a chance. If you go to work, get laid off, you come back here, you sign the list, first opportunity we get, we try to send you to work. And if you go to work and you learn your craft, like I said, an employer is looking for guys that can help them get the project in on time and under budget.
Among the most prolific projects on which its members have ever worked, in 1966, Local 46 Lathers and Reinforcing Rodman began construction of the original 7-building World Trade Center with its twin tower skyscrapers in Lower Manhattan.
You know, we do a good product, and we still have a lot of strong contractors who believe in the union and they want their buildings done right. Especially now, even now with the safety situation, you know, non-union is probably a lot more unsafe, so they don't want any accidents on their jobs and they want to hire a union. So I think we'll always hold our own.
I think we're the most qualified. I don't think there's anybody more qualified than Local 46. You know, 125 years, you know, long time. So these guys are qualified.
With changes in construction methods making the lath and plaster crafts virtually obsolete, the Wood, Wire, and Metal Lathers International Union merged into the United Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners of America on August 16, 1979, except for the 1,100-member Local 46. New York City's Union Lathers and Reinforcing Ironworkers instead affiliated with the International Association of Ironworkers to retain their geographical jurisdiction over metal lathing lathing and reinforcing rod work, and they were chartered by the International Association as Metallic Lathers and Reinforcing Ironworkers Local Number 46L, since a Local 46 already existed on October 10th, 1979 in New York City.
Not only do we embrace it, but we said, yes, we'll do the training because, of course, and that was in the same thinking as labor management, because my directive as the labor management coordinator was to seek out opportunities not just for our members, but for our signatories, because the more opportunities we found for us, so we had a real business model in mind. These guys are not the enemy. These guys are our employers.
I was fortunate enough to work with some guys that really wanted to, who really understood that the survival of the union depended on producing competent and hard-working new guys.
Throughout their 125-year history, the Metallic Lathers and Reinforcing Ironworkers of New York City have trained their new members through the time-honored system of apprenticeship. On-the-job training, through which apprentices learn the trade and are paid while working alongside journeyman lathers and rodmen on job sites, has always been the key component focal point of their education.
Give somebody an opportunity to make a career. It's all about that. Why do people come in here? Why they want to be a reinforcing iron worker or a lather? Because they want to make a career out of it.
While the Lathers initially trained apprentices over a 3-year period with little to no classroom or laboratory schooling, in 1955, the Lathers International Union and its employing contractors established the National Lathing Industries Joint Apprenticeship Program to create a set of standards for apprentice training. Lathers International Union Local 46 was the first local to contribute 1 cent per hour worked by each of its members into a new National Apprenticeship Joint Fund. Beginning January 1st, 1961, Local 46 then installed a more vigorous training program that instituted classroom and laboratory work for its apprentices. Over the next 40-plus years, the schooling was held at different locations throughout New York until 2003, when Local 46L purchased a new facility in which it established its Modern Learning Center, which houses the training program's offices, classrooms, and training area with welding stations and rebar mock-ups.
We go through an apprenticeship, a pretty good apprenticeship for 4 years, and they're trained pretty well. A lot of the training comes on the outside, but they do go to school for 4 years and, put through the vigors of the training, and they learn all the ropes.
Apprenticeship program's good. It gives you a little insight on what you're doing before you get out there. Blueprint reading, rigging, how to tie knots. You got just seasoned veterans teaching you how it's supposed to be done, you would learn a lot in there, but really you learn it out here. It's nothing like touching it.
In July 2016, the local transformed its apprentice program from 3 years to 4 years in length, during which apprentices are required to attend 188 hours of classroom training each year. Trainees continue to earn while they learn, while working both on the job during the day and taking classes during the evenings. And the Learning Center also provides continuing education to experienced journeyman-level lathers and reinforcing ironworkers to upgrade their skills in the latest industry techniques and equipment.
The program, I saw the program just continue to grow, because we really, in the 2000s, in those early 2000s, there was a lot of work around. And we started to grow almost exponentially. So we always had full classes of apprentices in those days. It was a really fulfilling experience to watch that blossom that way.
You learn a lot. You break in with good guys. The apprenticeship school is thorough, so you go out in the field and you kind of have a grasp of what's going on.
September 11th, 2001. Terrorists attacked the World Trade Center, flying 2 hijacked commercial airplanes into its twin towers. Soon after impact, both the south and then the north towers collapsed. The attacks killed 2,753 people at the World Trade Center and a total of 2,977 people as a result of an additional attack on the Pentagon, and when a 4th hijacked plane crashed in Pennsylvania.
9/11, another terrible day in our country. I was working about a block and a half away from here on Murray Street, so I actually saw the planes come in and hit the North Tower first, then the South Tower. And it was a terrible day with the lives lost and all the destruction, and something I'll never forget.
It was a tragic day, and I know we rallied with other Ironworkers Locals to go down there, and help with the cleanup. It wasn't acts, it was just organized, and that shows, how this union, jumps to a call to action.
Sadly, no local 46L member sacrificed more that day than brother William Joseph Billy Cashman, who was killed when United Airlines Flight 93 crashed near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, after he and his fellow passengers fought back against the hijackers to overtake the plane, which is believed to have been headed for the U.S. Capitol or the White House. Brother Cashman, a U.S. Army veteran, was survived by his wife of 31 years. He was 60 years old. Just like the city of New York and the entire United States, Local 46L responded immediately to the 9/11 attacks, with its members volunteering to search for survivors and remove the tons of debris from the site, among many other activities over the weeks and months that followed.
Almost immediately, our organization mobilized, and we brought people down here the very next day, and for months upon end, to work as the bucket brigade, and to help the cleanup, recovery, and just anything we can do to try to help the fire department and the police department get through this terrible time that we all faced at that moment in history.
Highlighting the locals' long-term 9/11 recovery efforts was construction of Freedom Tower, or One World Trade Center, on the site of the former World Trade Center, beginning in April 2006. Over the next 7 years, upwards of 260 local 46L members worked around the clock and on double shifts, with no serious injuries, to install 46 million pounds of rebar for what would be the main building of the rebuilt complex. When major construction of the 1,776-foot-tall Freedom Tower was completed in May 2013 for its official grand opening on November 3, 2014, Local 46L reinforcing ironworkers had been central in constructing an attack-resistant structure and monument to the American spirit that made it possible.
A lot of guys took a lot of pride in putting that building up.
Proud of Local 46 and my brothers and sisters. They step up to everything that went on throughout our history, from World War I through Vietnam, Desert Storm, Afghanistan, World War II, Korea, where my father was a Marine. I tell you, we stepped up, whether it was an international situation or a local situation. The members of Local 46 were there to defend this country. I see America. I see our country coming back stronger, with all our members having a big part of this.
Metallic Lathers and Reinforcing Ironworkers Local 46L celebrates its 125-year heritage of servicing New York's construction industry and its union lathers and rodmen, and the living wages, healthcare insurance, and pensions they have earned while building some of the most iconic structures in the world's most renowned city.
I would like to congratulate our union on 125 years. I'm glad I was a little part of it, very little, but a part of it anyway. And I hope it lasts another 125 years.
It's been a blessing. Got 2 beautiful kids, supporting 2 beautiful kids, a wife. And it's all thanks to Local 46. It's a tough way to make a living, but it's an honest way. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's this place groomed me, and in more ways than one. You know, Local 46 is responsible for everything I have in my life materially. All the material things I have. My daughters, both my daughters got scholarships through Local 46. Right? So I have two grown daughters who have master's degrees and good careers. And a lot of that goes back to all about the hours, wages, and benefits that Local 46 provided. It just opened a million doors to me.
The Local takes great pride in providing its members with representation that allows them to enjoy comfortable lives, and its employers with a highly skilled and well-trained workforce, as it will continue to do throughout its next 125 years.
Done a lot for me and my family. I'm a third generation Lather. Supported me growing up, supporting my family now. I got 2 kids. Worked on some cool projects. One of my favorite was the World Trade Center, the new Freedom Tower. That was a good one.
My grandfather was a reinforcing iron worker. My father was a reinforcing iron worker. I'm a reinforcing iron worker. And I have a son that's 28. He's a reinforcing iron worker. So it's 4 generations. It's a generational business. Gave me the opportunity to put my kids through college, buy a house, things that a kid from Newdorf High School really didn't strive for because they just wanted to get out of school. And funny thing is that I went from Newdorf High School in Staten Island to building the new Newdorf High School, my first job.
That's what it's all about. You know, the brothership, the camaraderie, and, you know, doing our craft to the best of our ability. And, you know, if we do that, you know, we'll be here for another 125 years.